UFC Qatar. These are my full card predictions and breakdown. I'm excited to break down this whole entire card and give you guys my picks. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into the first fight of the night. So first fight of the night, we got Bujło taking on Denzel Freeman, and I'm going Bujło to win this fight. I think Bujło is going to be able to use his wrestling against Freeman. I think he's going to push this fight up against the cage. I think he's going to dominate Freeman in the grappling, and I see Freeman probably gassing out after the first round because, in my opinion, I think he be getting tired in his fights. He's coming from LFA, had a couple fights in PFL back in the day. But honestly, in this fight, I can't really see him beating Bujło. I think Bujło's got the better wrestling. I think he's going to be able to use that effectively against Freeman. And I see him keeping the pressure on Freeman and using that wrestling to get it done. The odds on this fight, we got Bujło sitting at a plus 170. And Denzel Freeman is the minus 195. I'm not too impressed from what I've seen from Freeman. Yeah, Bujło has been fighting pretty much all cans. But in this fight with Freeman, I think he's going to be able to get it done. I think Freeman, he's fought, you could say, maybe a couple better opponents than Bujło has. But I think Bujło is going to be able to get it done against Freeman. I think Freeman gasses out. I think he gets tired, and I think he gets sloppy. And I see Bujło being able to take control with the grappling. Next fight of the night, we got Sagid Izagakhmaev taking on Nicholas Dalby. And I'm going Sagid in this fight. I think Sagid's going to dominate Dalby. I think his striking is a little too crisp for Dalby. I think he's going to be able to keep it at distance, find the range on Dalby, land a lot of good shots. And I see Dalby getting pieced up on the feet. Even Sagid's wrestling is pretty solid. I think he's going to be able to even push Dalby up against the cage, get the fight to the ground. I pretty much see him being able to dominate this fight any way he wants to. Nicholas Dalby, we all know Dalby. He's decent on the feet. He's kind of a punching bag at times. He just kind of sits in the pocket, keeps his head on the center line. Yeah, he's got good pop in his shots. But I think in this fight with Sagid, he's going to be getting touched up on the feet. He's going to be getting dominated. So I see Sagid being able to get it done. The odds on this fight, we got Dalby sitting at a plus 265, and Sagid is the minus 315. Pretty wide favorite. And I think those lines are pretty accurate. I think Sagid's going to dominate Dalby. I think Dalby's going to be getting tagged up on the feet. I think we could possibly see Sagid be able to get a finish. And I'm going to go second round finish for Sagid in this fight. I think he's going to be able to knock out Dalby. Next fight of the night, we got Aliev taking on Shaheem Rock. Aliev, solid striker. He can bang on the feet. He's got good wrestling as well. And Shaheem Rock is much more of a, I would kind of describe him more of just a grappler. He likes getting the fight to the ground, pushing the pressure up against the cage. But I think in the fight with Aliev, I think Aliev's going to be able to tag him up heavy on the feet, land a lot of good shots. And I think his wrestling is better than Shaheem Rock's. And I see Aliev being able to get the fight to the ground at will. I think Rock is going to get dominated in this fight. Aliev's going to be able to do whatever he wants to him. I don't think Rock's ready for this step up in competition, and I think Aliev is going to dominate him. The odds on this fight, we got Aliev sitting at a minus 275, and Rock is the plus 235. I think Rock gets crushed in this fight. I think Aliev's going to finish him. We could I'm going to probably say a later finish, maybe late second round, early third. He could potentially knock him out or even find a submission on him. But Shaheem Rock does got some solid ground game. I don't know. Maybe Aliev can find a good shot on the feet and put out Rock. So I'm going to go a third round finish for Aliev. Next fight of the night, we got Ryan Loder taking on Ismail Naurdiev. Ryan Loder, very good grappler. He's going to be trying to find his wrestling in this fight, immediately get the fight to the ground. Ismail Naurdiev, I would say, is the better striker between these two. Naurdiev also, he's got some decent ground game. And I think Naurdiev gets it done. I think Ryan Loder is probably going to be able to find some takedowns on Naurdiev, but I do think Naurdiev is going to be able to find his way back to his feet and land the better shots on Ryan Loder. Naurdiev, we saw him lose to Park in his last fight. But I don't really think Loder's that great. I think Loder's wrestling's very scary, but I think Ishmael's going to be able to tag him up on the feet. And I do see him being able to stop at least the majority of the takedowns. Ryan Loder, he could potentially find success with the takedowns, but I do think Naurdiev's going to be able to find his way back up to the feet, land some good shots on Loder, and I do see him winning the fight. The odds on this fight, we got Naurdiev sitting at a -140, and Ryan Loder is the +120 underdog. I think Ishmael gets it done. I think he's going to be able to tag up Loder on the feet. I think Loder's very open on the feet. He does got very good wrestling, and he's going to be trying to get the takedowns on Naurdiev, but I see Naurdiev being able to at least stop some of the takedowns, and if he does get taken down, find his way back up to the feet. So I'm going to go Ishmael Naurdiev to win this fight by a decision. I think it could potentially be close, but I do think Naurdiev gets it done. Next fight of the night, we got Beksat Almakhan versus Alexandre Topuria. I'm going Beksat Almakhan in this fight. I think Almakhan's going to be able to find success on the feet against Topuria. Topuria's got very scary pressure. He fights just like his brother. Comes forward, keeps the forward pressure, likes cutting the cage off, finding good body shots, keeping the pressure on his opponents, and eventually wear down until his opponents eventually break, and then he's able to close distance and land a lot of big combinations. But in this fight with Almakhan, I think Almakhan's going to be able to find success at the distance, and I like that uppercut he be throwing. And I think Topuria is going to be open for that rear uppercut, and I think we could see Almakhan land a big uppercut on Topuria and potentially put him down and potentially finish him. I think Almakhan's going to be able to stay at the distance effectively, find a nice uppercut on Topuria, and I think we could potentially see Topuria get finished in this fight. The odds, we got Beksat Almakhan sitting at a +100, and Topuria is the -120. Topuria, slight favorite in this fight, but I think Almakhan's going to be able to find success. I think he's going to be able to stay at distance and manage the pressure of Topuria, because Topuria is going to be coming forward with a lot of pressure. He's going to be cutting the cage off, and he's going to be finding shots on the feet. But I do think Almakhan's going to be able to find the better shots, and I think he finds a nice uppercut on Topuria, and I see him winning this fight. So I'm going Beksat Almakhan to find a good uppercut on Topuria and potentially finish him. So I'm going to go a finish for Almakhan. I think he finishes Topuria. I'm going to throw a second-round finish. I think he lands a nice uppercut on Topuria and puts him out. So I'm going Beksat Almakhan to beat Alexandre Topuria. Next fight of the night, we got Kyoji Horiguchi taking on Tagir Ulanbekov. I'm going Ulanbekov to win this fight. I think he's going to be able to use his distance, keep the fight at range, tag up Horiguchi on the feet. Horiguchi's going to be coming forward, trying to find the takedowns. But I do think Ulanbekov's going to be able to stop the takedowns of Horiguchi and tag him up heavy on the feet. But I think this probably goes to a decision, and I'm going to say Tagir Ulanbekov gets it done. The odds on this fight, we got Ulanbekov sitting at a -194, and Horiguchi is the +169. I like Ulanbekov to win the fight. I think he's going to be able to tag up Horiguchi on the feet, keep the distance, tag him up, and win a decision. I don't think Horiguchi could potentially get finished, but I'm going to lean towards a decision win for Ulanbekov. I think Ulanbekov's going to just be able to tag up Horiguchi, keep the fight at range, stop the takedowns, and I see him winning the fight. So I'm going Ulanbekov to beat Horiguchi by a decision. Next fight of the night, we got Abdul Rahman Yakhyaev taking on Rafael Cerqueira. Easy pick here. Yakhyaev's going to flatline Cerqueira. I think he's going to dominate. I think this is a first-round finish. I think Yakhyaev comes out, throws a big right hand, flatlines Rafael Cerqueira in this fight. Easy pick in this one. Cerqueira's got decent Muay Thai striking, but he's just going to be overwhelmed in this fight. I think Yakhyaev's going to come out fast, throw bombs on him, finish him quick. The odds, are insane. Yakhyaev is the minus 1,800, and Rafael Cerqueira is the plus 900 underdog. He's going to get flatlined. This is going to be a quick fight. Yakhyaev gets it done. First round. Next fight of the night, we got Luke Riley taking on Bogdan Grad. Luke Riley is coming from, if I can think of the name, Cage Warriors. Luke Riley hasn't fought anybody too impressive. This is a big step up in competition. And I think he loses against Bogdan Grad. Luke Kelly, in his last fight, was getting taken down a lot by Tario Abasov, who is pretty small in my opinion. He looked way smaller than Luke Riley in that fight. Bogdan Grad is a pretty relentless wrestler. He can get this fight to the ground, and I think that's what he's going to do. Luke Kelly, he's more of a striker, I would say. He likes keeping the fight on the feet, tagging up his opponents from the outside. He's got some good body digs. He can rip some big shots, but I think Bogdan Grad is going to find success on the ground. I think Bogdan Grad is going to be able to find the takedowns on Luke Riley, and I think he's going to be able to dominate Luke Riley. I think Luke Riley, this is a big step up in competition, and I think Bogdan Grad is going to be able to get it done. I think Grad's going to be able to find the takedowns on Riley. On the feet, this is close. I think Riley, we could maybe say he's going to find some success on the feet, but I think Bogdan Grad's going to be using the takedowns and mixing it in with the striking, and I see him being able to get it done doing that. The odds on this fight, we got Riley sitting at a minus 250, and Bogdan Grad is the plus 210. I think Bogdan Grad gets it done. I think Grad is going to find the takedowns on Riley, and I think Bogdan Grad could potentially find a submission. I think Bogdan Grad is live to maybe find a submission on Luke Riley. I think Luke Riley is going to get taken down a lot in this fight. If not, we'll see Grad win a decision. But I'd like Grad to win this fight. I think he uses that wrestling, keeps this fight on the ground, and keeps Luke Riley up against the cage, use a lot of pressure on him, and I see Grad being able to get it done. Next fight of the night, we got Alex Perez taking on Asu Almabayev. And I'm going Asu Almabayev in this fight. I think Almabayev is going to be able to get it done. I think Almabayev is going to be able to tag up Perez on the feet a little bit, mixing that wrestling, and we'll probably see him win a decision. Alex Perez has got decent boxing. He's got some decent forward pressure, but he's kind of a little bit square in my opinion, and I think Almabayev is going to be able to tag him on the feet and then mix the grappling in, and I see him winning this fight. I think Perez could maybe find some success on the feet, but I don't know. Almabayev's got a pretty solid boxing, and I think he's going to be able to use it against Perez, and then he's going to be mixing in the takedowns. I think Almabayev could potentially finish Perez, but I'm going to lean a decision for Almabayev, but I do think Almabayev's going to be able to dominate Alex Perez in this fight. The odds, we got Perez sitting at a plus 180, and Almabayev is the minus 210. I like Almabayev to win this fight. I think he touches up Perez on the feet, and then he mixes in the grappling as well. He can pretty much dominate in all areas, in my opinion. So I'm going Almabayev. I think he wins it by decision, but he is potentially live to finish Perez. Next fight of the night, we got Sergey Spivac taking on Shamil Gaziev. I'm taking Sergey Spivac in this fight. I think Gaziev is going to be getting tagged up on the feet. I think Spivac's going to find success at range. I think he's going to be using the clinch work effectively on Gaziev, and I think he's going to be tagging up Gaziev a lot. I think Spivac is going to have the better striking, faster hands, and I see Gaziev potentially getting put down in this fight. I think it will probably be a later finish, maybe late second round, but I'm going to go Spivac to TKO Gaziev. I think Spivac's going to find success on the feet, and I think he's going to be able to tag up Gaziev. Gaziev, he's coming off the KO win against Peterson. Before that was Dontel Mays. He picked up a loss to Rosenstruik. And before that, he beat Martin Boudet, Greg Velasco on the Contender Series. Shamil Gaziev, I think he's a little bit overrated. I don't think he's that great, and I think he's going to get fucked up by Spivac. Yeah, Spivac, he got the win against Derek Lewis. Then he picked up a loss against Tsarukyan. Then he got a win against Topuria. And now he's coming off of 2 losses against Almeida and Waldo Cortez Acosta. And in my opinion, those losses aren't really that bad. He's still fighting top guys. And I think he's going to be able to put down Shamil Gaziev. I don't think Shamil Gaziev, his last 2 wins were all right, but both of those guys are pretty mid in my opinion. And I think Spivac is going to be able to tag up Gaziev. And I see him losing this fight. So I'm going with Spivac to win. The odds on this fight, we got Shamil Gaziev sitting at a -140 favorite, and Spivac is the +120 underdog. I like Spivac to win. I think he's going to find success against Gaziev. I think we'll see a second-round finish for Spivac. Next fight of the night, we got Jack Hermansson taking on Mairbek Orolbai. You know, I was kind of back and forth in my head on this fight. I kind of want to potentially take Jack Hermansson. I'm not going to lie. He's coming down and wait for this fight. Could his wrestling be more effective? Could he use that size against Orolbai? But I don't know. Orolbai's a scary motherfucker. And this is a pretty close fight. And I think Orolbai is... I want to go Orolbai, but I do think Hermansson is live. I think Hermansson is live to potentially find some takedowns on Orolbai, but I'm going Orolbai to win this fight. I think it'll be close. I think Orolbai probably gets it done by a decision, but Jack Hermansson's live. We saw him able to take down Dalby in that fight, and Dalby's a big motherfucker. But I don't know. He's coming off that loss against Rodriguez. I don't know. I think Hermansson's live. Orolbai, he's coming off that win against Musayev, which is a solid win, I would say. But Orolbai might get tagged up in this fight. Hermansson might be able to find success on the feet, potentially find the wrestling. But I'm gonna stay with Orolbai, but I do think Hermansson's pretty live in this fight. I'm gonna go Orolbai by decision. The odds on this fight, we got Orolbai sitting at a -240 favorite, and Hermansson is the +205 underdog. Orolbai, I do think he's going to be able to get it done. I'm going to go a decision win for Mairbek Orolbai. But I do think Hermansson is live. Next fight of the night, we got Volkan Oezdemir taking on Alonzo Menifield. I'm going Oezdemir in this fight. I think he's going to be able to find success on the feet with Menifield. I think he tags him up, finds the range on him. Alonzo Menifield, he's coming off that win against Umar Sy, where I'm pretty sure he was a pretty big underdog. But he was able to squeeze out the win against Sy. That's a pretty solid win. But I think Oezdemir in this fight is going to find success on Menifield, and I think he's going to squash him. I think Oezdemir is going to crack Menifield on the feet, land a lot of big shots, and I see him being able to put down Menifield. The odds on this fight, we got Oezdemir sitting at a -225, and Alonzo Menifield is the +190 underdog. I like Menifield to win this fight. Or I like Oezdemir to win this fight. I think Menifield's going to get outclassed. I think Oezdemir is going to find a lot of big shots on the feet, and I think we'll see Menifield get put down. So I'm going to go Oezdemir by third-round finish. Next fight of the night, we're on to the co-main event. We got Belal Muhammad taking on Ian Machado Garry. Interesting matchup. Belal Muhammad got all right boxing, but mainly he likes getting the fights to the ground. He likes using the wrestling, dominating his opponents against the cage. Ian Machado Garry likes keeping the fights at distance, using somewhat of a karate style, kickboxing-esque type of style. And I think he's going to be able to tag up Belal Muhammad on the feet. I'm going Machado Garry. I think Ian Garry, I think it's his time, and I think he beats Belal Muhammad. I think he's going to tag up Belal Muhammad. Garry, I think he finishes Belal Muhammad, if I'm being honest. I think he's going to find some big shots and connect on the feet. I think he's going to be able to stop the takedowns of Belal Muhammad. I think Belal Muhammad's going to potentially break in this fight because Machado Garry is going to fucking come at him. He's going to be landing a lot of big shots. And I think Belal Muhammad's going to get a little scared. The odds on this fight, we got Belal sitting at a plus 210, and Ian Garry is the minus 250. Ian Garry, I think he slaps up Belal Muhammad on the feet. Muhammad's going to be using the wrestling, trying to get it to the ground. But I like Garry to win this fight. I think we'll see a finish. I think Ian Garry's going to potentially make Belal Muhammad cry a little in this fight. I'm going to go a second-round finish for Machado Garry. Now, on to the main event. We got Arman Tsarukyan taking on Dan Hooker. This is a one-sided fight, in my opinion. Arman Tsarukyan takes down Dan Hooker whenever he wants to. In my opinion, I hope Dan Hooker wins, but I got to go Tsarukyan. I think Tsarukyan's going to get the takedowns on Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker on the feet, yeah, if this is a stand-up only match, Dan Hooker could potentially come out the winner. He could tag up Tsarukyan on the feet, use that kickboxing effectively. Maybe Dan Hooker in this fight could find some success in the clinch, that Muay Thai clinch, throw some elbows, some knees. But I think Dan Hooker loses this fight. Tsarukyan's going to be able to take him down whenever he wants to. Maybe Dan Hooker can find success in the clinch if he's able to stop some of the takedowns, but most likely Tsarukyan's able to get this fight to the ground. Dan Hooker gets tagged up. The odds, we got Tsarukyan sitting at a minus 500. Dan Hooker's the plus 375. Tsarukyan probably is going to be able to find a rear naked choke on Dan Hooker, but hopefully Dan Hooker can find success on the feet and knock out Tsarukyan, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Arman Tsarukyan is going to be able to get it done over Dan Hooker, and I think Arman Tsarukyan is going to be able to find a rear naked choke, and we'll probably see a second-round finish. So I'm going to go Arman Tsarukyan by a second-round submission over Dan Hooker. So those are my full card predictions for UFC Qatar. Let me know what you guys think of my picks. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.